After all that training, if you can put it into words, what did it feel like crossing that line, knowing you earned a silver medal?
Oh my God. Relief. I think maybe like to say one word, relief.
Here at UVA, the women's rowing team has won 23 ACC championships. But one of these athletes has a silver medal that no one else has. Skylar Dahl took her junior year to train as part of the US Paralympic national team with the goal of making it to Paris for the 2024 Paralympic Games. We sat down and got the details on her journey through her disability and making it to Europe.
So I was born with bilateral club foot. And so that means that normal feet are like this. Mine were basically inwards, upside down. So I kind of looked like a little frog when I was born. So that means that all the bones were kind of in slightly different places. They're kind of crammed, and my tendons were a lot tighter. So I had corrective surgery immediately that basically cut my Achilles, put them back, and I was casted and braced with like hard shoes and all the works for at least the first year of life, if not more. I don't really remember. I don't remember it, but according to what I've been told and photos and everything, that's what happened. I think the thing about it is that I didn't think of myself as having a disability until I was introduced to para. So I guess technically it would be labeled as disability, but I was not raised having a disability. I didn't tell people. Nobody thought I had necessarily, no one said that I was disabled. Because I played sports. I played soccer and basketball at the highest level that I could with all the other kids. So it didn't really limit me. I was gonna play basketball in college. That was my journey, and I was having college visits and recruiting visits right up until the point that I had to stop immediately. It was like a really foot to the brake over. So that's another part of the story, but yeah.
So with that wall you hit with basketball, was there ever a time where you were like, why me? Like, why is this happening to me?
Oh my gosh, yes. The depression was real because your life is only as your world is so small at that age. And I'm from a small town in Minnesota. I say Minneapolis. I'm about 15 minutes north of Minneapolis is where I'm from. And it was a lot of in and out of the city, but for the most part, world is pretty small. And so my whole world was basketball, and that was the thing that was going to take me to college. And I wanted to play, big D1, and I wanted to be freaking Paige Beckers, and she's another Minnesota girl, and I thought she was iconic, and I wanted to be her. My high school coach was from Virginia. She's from, I think Williamsburg, or she's from out here, and she grew up here. So she's like, you should just, while you're in the area, you should just check them out. And so we were driving through, it's February 2020. We're doing kind of a college visit road trip. And for whatever reason, it felt right. And then, I don't know, a week later, Kevin called me and is like, you want a spot? And I was like, yeah, because this is a crazy offer. And this is, talk about taking a chance on me. So kind of random that I ended up here, to be honest, but yeah. But glad I did.
I really didn't know about her para possibilities. I knew that she had stopped playing basketball and started rowing because she had some feet problems, and had broken some bones in her feet and had some surgeries and stuff like that. But I didn't know the extent of it at all. I wasn't really concerned with that at all. She's a great rower and great kid. I just loved her personality, and could tell she was a hard worker and all that kind of stuff. But I remember that fall, she really started, putting some numbers down on the erg and doing better in the boat and started rowing better and that kind of stuff. And that spring, she rowed away in the Tuvi. I was actually a little bit surprised that she had moved up that far. And so she did a great job. And then I started thinking about the para angle. And so I said to her, I said, Sky, what do you exactly what's wrong with your feet? She's had club feet. And so I don't know for sure, but I think you may qualify for para.
So when you go down to when you do the process of actually being classified, it's a really in-depth process. There's doctors, there are physical therapists, trainers, all the works in a room, and you go through all of these, you go through a checklist, and they're measuring 3 times per thing, per angle, and all the smallest things that you would think, and testing strength in every possible direction of my feet and my legs. They do the whole body, but obviously that's what qualifies me for it.
We brought an erg to the hotel out in the hallway. She did all this certification process. And at the end of the 2 hours or so, she said, yeah, she's certified. And boom, she goes to a camp that summer, makes the 4, wins a silver medal at the World Championships. Crazy.
Last spring, I took I redshirted technically this season. I wanted to do both. I wanted to train with the team and race and be able to train and peak. So not only at June, June 1 or whatever it was, May 30, whatever, for NCAAs, but then also peak 3 months later for the games. Didn't work out. I couldn't do it. I tried to and quickly realized that I'm burning myself out, and I really can't. I can't afford to do that.
You could tell that she was just really worn out, and so we had a meeting with Kelsey and I and her, and basically decided that it was best for her to just take this semester off last spring. And just focus on her academics. And then if she needed to go to Boston to hop in the 4 on a weekend, she could do that easily, no conflict, that kind of stuff, and just let her go, And then so that's what she did. And she asked me in November, December, she said, hey, they're having this para selection camp for Paris Olympics in January. What do you think of me going to that selection camp instead of going to Florida with the team? And I go, that's fine. I mean, they're going to crush you at that camp, right? And so I'm totally fine with that. And so she goes to that camp, and that camp was they're going to name the 4 at the end of that camp. So she would know in the middle of January if she's going to Paris or not, which is fairly rare to know that far ahead of time. And so she made it.
We had kind of 2 threads that became our media points for our boat. One being that we all were born with clubfoot. The other 3, the 2 guys and the other woman, have 1, and then I have both of mine were clubfoot, and they're obviously all corrected, with surgeries when we were babies. But so we have that, which is also crazy because you probably heard me say this, but went 18 years, 19 years without meeting anyone else that had clubfoot, and then now I'm rowing in a boat with kids. 20-year-old kids who all have the same thing and have such similar growing up experiences, and they also are also very different. It's fun learning about their different growing up experiences and their life with athletics as kids, and so many just weird, kind of niche things that we clicked on. So we clicked really, really quickly, and it was just cool to be with people who are just literally all locked in, literally 24/7 doing the same thing. Because for 3-4 months, that's all there is to do, is just to train.
You've medaled at Worlds, you've medaled in Paris. What is your future looking like in Paralympic rowing?
So I need a gold medal, first of all. So I'll be going up to Boston and training through 2028 to get a gold, and at home. So we have so much. It's exciting to be a part of para. I think. I didn't have plans to continue rowing after college until I found para, and it's just I get a different meaning to it, and a different joy to it. Para program is so unique because you're seeking out individuals who maybe are hard to find. Like me, I could have been involved if I was, 16, 17 going to the selection camps, but I didn't know until I was already 2 years into college that this was even an option. So it's things like that. It's just, bringing awareness, trying to help be a face for this so people know about it and, kind of know that you can also do both. You can also be a Division I college athlete and, be a para athlete and be a disability advocate. And it's all these cool things that are never would have seen for myself. So I'm yeah, I'm going to keep doing it. It's one of the most meaningful things I do in my life.
Again, 3 years on for the USA